do you see the risk that, okay, if I save some of my portfolio in gold, I cannot make use of it because the government will also make the tax higher. So I'm screwed either way. So don't you see this happening? A possibility?
Yes, that possibility does exist because, for instance, in 1933, Roosevelt confiscated or wanted to confiscate the gold with citizens, and it only became legal again to own gold in '74. So that can happen again. So that, yes, is a risk. But as I tell my subscribers, in nature you have three ways in which an animal deals with a risk. You either flee, or you paralyze, or you fight. And there will be a moment where people have to step up and say, until here and no further, no pasará. And sadly, this is now done by organizations that are actually controlled by the system, like the unions. The unions act as if they are helping the population and they are organizing strikes. No, they are also only interested in maintaining their own power.
Mm-hmm.
And so you will arrive at a situation where populism will suddenly turn into a very political movement against taxes. That is what I see. And then everything will crash. But this requires consciousness. You know, people have to know how the system works. And I'm following the markets now for the last 20 years. And I must tell you that the last 5 years, I see an enormous, you know, people they know something is wrong, but they cannot point the finger, you know, what is really wrong. And I think you have a great educational function with your channel. And I hope you make a lot more videos because it's very important what you are doing.
Yeah, so they at one point, which is far in the future, unfortunately, but they will see that we print money, we try to buy assets, but all is what this doing is destroying the basis of economy. And then we will stop believing that. And then it doesn't matter how much more they will print because we know it doesn't matter. It's just numbers. You can put trillions, 10 trillions, but at the end of the day, it's zero. And then we will lose confidence. And then what can we do? So then it will be too late to buy gold, or then we try to buy I don't know, we try to buy Swiss francs or something like that.
It will be impossible. You know, gold will have no price, literally no price, because there will be no offer. You know, you have to understand gold. I always say to my subscribers, gold is like the coin you pay to the ferryman to bring you from one monetary system to the next.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Like in the crisis, in the moment of crisis, you will not be able to buy gold because everybody knows that a new monetary system is coming, and then they will convert their gold into the new money.
Mm-hmm.
Because most gold books are too romantic. I'm very sorry. It's not like some nobility, gold nobility will rise and then we will not have a new slave system, a new debt system. Yes, of course we will have a new debt system, and the owners of the system know that, and they are already preparing the next system. So the real deal is to preserve your purchasing power, get into the new system. What I also predict is that there will be an exit tax on gold.
Yeah.
At some point, you will have to convert your gold again into the new money, because I'm not in love with gold. I'm just saying that gold is now the best bridge, the golden bridge, you could also say, between the two systems. Once you're in the new system, what is the best thing to buy? Well, stocks, of course, because everything will have crashed. If you buy a bakery, then you know the next 10 years you don't have to work anymore.
Yeah. Real estate.
There will be an exit tax because the government will, of course, never take responsibility. They don't do that. It's those filthy gold speculators that have caused this crisis, and therefore we will tax them and we will give the money to the poor people. Okay, tax me. You know, if my gold has gone times 10 and I have to pay 20%, tax me. I don't care.
Yeah. The question is how much it will be. But you see this happening over and over again.
Yes,
in the cycles.
This is a pattern. It's a pattern.
Okay. Yeah. I understand. So definitely we should have some part of our portfolio in gold for insurance reasons. That's what I
Yes.
also say. I think it's obvious that the interest rates are now artificially low, and this is the status quo. But at the end, no central bank can be stronger than the market. So what could or what will end this status quo? Or will we see, do you think, is it possible that we have low and lower, maybe even more negative, maybe deeply negative interest rates?
Yeah.
But this is the official interest rate. But the interest rates that I can for what I can borrow money will be higher and higher because the bank. Do you see this do you see that this is possible?
Yeah, I do think so. I read somewhere, I think it was JP Morgan, but I'm not sure. And they calculated that negative interest rates could go to -4.
Yeah, okay.
So, but you could go to -10. It doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is, do people still believe that this is a system that can be durable over time?
Yeah.
And because if you really are conscious enough, then you understand that negative interest rates are impossible, because they're impossible, but they still exist. So that is why you know that they're using black magic. And I say that to everybody. Say, what are you talking about? Black magic? I say, this is black magic, because black magic are things that cannot exist, and they do exist. And the only reason they do exist is because people believe it is possible.
They have still trust in the system. They still believe that they want to save us with this step. And I can show you, I think, IMF paper or Bank of International Settlements papers that describe really that interest rates can go to the deeply negative 5-10% minus.
Yeah.
And the reason why they want to do that is to make us to spend money. Because when we spend money, then we don't save it, and then we spend, and that will save the economy. So that is what they want to try. At least, and I think it will work. Probably it will come, and it will also work at the beginning, because we still have belief. We still believe in the system.
It's anti-capitalist. It's a capitalist is somebody who works and saves, and now you are being incited to borrow and spend. And they still believe that the economy grows by borrowing and spending. And that's not how an economy grows. An economy grows by constructing capital. And that's the least people don't do anymore, constructing capital.
You talk about that I will be richer, or I will be richer when I produce some more than I consume, and then I save this money. And with this I will, that's exactly what I also told to my viewers. But it's not what they want now, but they want us first to spend, and they will make it easier to get a loan to spend. And because of the negative interest rates, that could go also deeply negative. Because of that, it is possible that we arrive to the cashless society.
Well, of course.
High chance?
They hate cash because if you take cash out of the bank, it's only cash, but at least you're not losing purchasing power because of negative interests.
Mm-hmm.
And so you have to pardon me, but the virus that we have had now, if you look at the impact caused by the measures to prevent it, and the impact it would have caused if you had done nothing, I tend to believe that one of the benefits of their approach is that people now start to be scared by cash. They are scared by coins and notes, because maybe it has been through everybody's hands. Maybe the virus is there. So exaggerating this aspect, I believe, has something to do with what is behind on a monetary base. Can I add one thing more?
Yeah.
Imagine that this virus crisis would not have happened, that we would still be, as the central banks would have had to print money just the same, but they had no excuse. Greta Thunberg tried to, to work everybody up into, this is a climate crisis, but people were like, we're looking around and there's no real crisis feeling. So there was no legitimacy by the central banks to print money. But all of a sudden, a super lethal virus comes along, which is not lethal for regular people. It's 80% of people who die are have pre-existing conditions, are older. And I'm not saying this out of disrespect for people who are younger and died, but they are taking an aspect of life, death, which exists, and they are blowing it up, inflating like they do with everything, to be able to say, aha, now we have to inflate, because if we don't inflate now, we are going to let the economy crash. And in the meantime, they can abolish our citizens' rights, cash. In many shops, they no longer accept cash because virus. It's a matrix. It's a set of beliefs that they are constructing around us, so that you would not look at the essence, and that is that we are dead slaves. And it's the moment people acknowledge that they are dead slaves that things will change.
Okay, and this takes time, you say, because we will arrive to this conclusion, but it takes time.
Also because they want more control. Cash is the only thing that they have no control over. But if you pay with your phone, and they can follow everything, even in your bank account, it makes like a graph on which sector you have spent your money. Well, this is the wet dream of any totalitarian government, to have full control over your citizens, and that is what they want.
And then you cannot escape the system anymore, because
that's it.
Okay.
And that's why I call it the matrix.
What I also could see, another reason to print money is the green issues, climate change, whatever. And there was also a paper that is called the Green Swans, that described really that central banks, if there's a climate catastrophe is happening, a green swan event, then they could print money. And
whatever floats your motorboat, or killer bees, or dengue fever, or invent something. The environment is important, but an inconvenient truth, the real inconvenient truth, is that this monetary system is broke, and that they will invent anything to divert attention. Racial troubles, for instance. They have been racial troubles for as long as I can remember in the United States. They love that shit. The more conflict there is, the less people understand that they are slaves battling each other. They don't look at the slave masters, they battle each other.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you want. Divide et impera. It's as old as humanity itself. They always have excuses, and people get asleep. They fall into sleep until at some point they realize we are slaves. And I realized that in 2013, and that's when I started with macro trends.
Okay.
And more people are realizing that. And you asked me like for 3 times now, until when will it go? Well, it's very simple. Until we have a spiritual revolution, until people really start understanding that the monetary system is not a financial system. It is a religious system. It is an elite trying to have people enslaved to a system they worship. And this is another aspect. You can cut it out if you want, but if you investigate the top layer of the elite, the central banking elites of this world, well, they are religious people, but it's not a beneficial God.